In today's lesson, we'll be learning how to manipulate formulas. I want you to keep these two phrases in mind as we go through today's lesson. Opposites cancel out, and what you do to one side, you must do to the other side. This is a formula for the volume of a cube or rectangular prism. Volume is equal to length multiplied by width multiplied by height. Let's say I want to know a formula for length, and I know the width, the height, and the volume already. Start by putting yourself in the perspective of L. You'll notice that there's a W and H directly beside you. But what is that W and H doing to you? Well, this W is multiplying you, and this H is also multiplying as well. Over on the side, I'm going to write that out. Multiply by W and multiply by H. Think about opposites. What is the opposite of multiply by W, and what is the opposite of multiply by H? Well, the opposite of that is divide by W and divide by H. If you remember, when using BEDMAS, you move from B all the way down to S. But today, we're going to move the opposite direction. We're going to move from S all the way up to B, which means we're going to divide by H and then divide by W. Over here, I'm going to divide by H. But what you do to one side, you must do to the other side. Opposites cancel out. Those are opposites because multiply by H and divide by H are opposites. This is going to leave me with V over H on the left side and L and W on the right side. And if you've forgotten, a fraction is the same thing as division. Next, we're going to divide by W. So over here, I'm going to divide by W. But what you do to one side, you must do to the other side. Since there's already a fraction here, all we need to do is just add that W down below it. Now, opposites cancel out. Those are opposites because the opposite of multiplying by W is dividing by W. So over on the left, I have V over WH, and on the right, I have length. Since we read from left to right, we're going to have to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to rewrite this as L is equal to V over WH. So length is equal to volume divided by width times height. This is a formula for area of a triangle. Area is equal to base multiplied by height, then divided by 2. Let's say I want a formula for base, and I already know the height and area of this triangle. Start by putting yourself in the perspective of B. You'll notice that there's an H directly beside you and a over 2 underneath you. What exactly are these things doing to you? Well, this H is multiplying you, and then this is divide by 2. I'm going to write that over on the side. So you're being multiplied by H, and then you're getting divided by 2. I want you to think of opposites. What is the opposite of divide by 2 and multiply by H? Well, the opposite of divide by 2 is multiply by 2, and the opposite of multiply by H is divide by H. When using BEDMAS, we normally move from B all the way down to S. But today, we're going to go the opposite direction. We're going to move from S all the way up to B, which means we are first going to have to divide by H. Since there's a fraction here already, I don't need to write that in, and I can just put H directly in the denominator. Now, what you do to one side, you must do to the other side. Also, opposites cancel out because the opposite of multiplying by H is divide by H. So that's going to leave me with A over H on the left side, and the B over 2 remains unchanged. Next, we are going to multiply by 2. So over here, I'm going to multiply by 2. But what you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So I'm going to squeeze in a multiply by 2 right over there. Opposites cancel out. Multiply by 2 and divide by 2 are opposites, so they are going to cancel out. This leaves me with a over h multiplied by 2 on the left side, and we have b unchanged on the right side. Now, since we read from left to right, we're going to have to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to rewrite this as b is equal to a over h multiplied by 2. Therefore, the formula for base is equal to area divided by height, then multiplied by 2.